You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. All right, let's take you inside of Tigers Stadium because judging by the attendance, you weren't there, which is okay. Listen, it wasn't even a real spring game. It was practice. I mean, we talking about practice. That's what it was. Practice, a lot like if you went, you got to see what we, the media, get to see typically on a day when Brian Kelly lets us in. Some special teams, some situational stuff, some goal line, red zone, 7-on-7, couple of scrimmage periods. That's what it was. And I will tell you there were a few things, especially having seen this team a good bit throughout spring, that were pretty notable takeaways from me. Now, I want to point this out because I think this is important. I would recommend you get a lot of people's opinions who were there because the way it's structured with a lot going on one end of the field or the other end of the field, there's things that I might have been watching that someone else wasn't watching and vice versa. So get as many opinions as you can of who saw what. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. Now, this is up at louisianasports.net if you want it. I took copious notes, and it is free. If you want my scrimmage notebook, it's there at louisianasports.net. Click the LSU section, and you'll see it right there. It just says LSU Spring Scrimmage Notebook. See how we do that? It's really creative. Anyway, let me give you my biggest takeaways. First, I think as much as we have talked about the line of scrimmage, offensive and defensive line, that's where I had to start. And for me, the biggest takeaway there was that we saw the two transfers for the first time that I've seen them anyway. There certainly could be times in practice when the media isn't there that the two transfers, Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson, could have been running ones simultaneously. We've seen Josh Thompson take some reps at tackle. We've seen Braylon Moore take reps with the ones at center. But what we saw on Saturday, for the first time I saw it anyway, was Braylon Moore at center, Josh Thompson at left guard. It was Paul Mabenga who came out. And I believe, this is just my opinion, and Brian Kelly after the practice talked about the offensive line, but this is just my opinion, that when they line up against Clemson on Labor Day weekend, that's how it's going to look from left to right. Adams, Thompson, Moore. I think DJ Chester will be the starting right guard, and then Weston Davis at right tackle. But here was Brian Kelly about the offensive line coming out of that scrimmage.
Well, I think we've made great progress in building versatility within the group. I think in one sense, we've been clear that the mandate was not to go through the spring and name 5 guys. And so if we went in with that goal, we would not be anywhere near that. But that wasn't the goal. The goal was to get guys in position where we could find out what the best fit was for them individually and for us as a unit and then as LSU as a football team. So it's been moving guys around and finding where the right fits are. And then we'll go into camp and probably say, all right, through the first 8-9 practices will give us some time to make the decision on what that unit is and then build continuity through the back end of preseason camp with the starting 5.
By the way, that's the exact same thing they did a year ago at cornerback. Remember, you had Zy Alexander coming off the ACL. You had Ashton Stamps coming back for a sophomore year. You had a bunch of transfers out, but you had a guy like J.K. Johnson healthy again. Remember, they took Sage Ryan and moved him corner, safety. Like, that's what they did in spring and then also in fall camp for the first 2 weeks. And then when they got into preps for USC, boom, all right, you're at your spot. Now we're getting ready for a game. So I believe him when he's talking about that timeline. But spring is a great opportunity to know what the pole position is going to be when they get to fall camp. Now, on the other side, one of the things that highlighted the day was the defensive ends in particular. Jack Pyburn had a safety in one of the scrimmage sessions where the offense lined up deep in their own territory, right? Like they lined up at their own 1, their own 3, their own 5. So backed up against their own goal line. Pyburn had a safety. He had another sack in one of the team periods. Gabe Relaford, Jabari Butler had sacks. And you can look at that and say, well, that's a problem for your offensive line. My contention is those dudes are going to be a problem for everybody's offensive line. That's why you went in the portal and spent so much money to get Peyton and Pyburn and Butler, in addition to Gabe Relaford, and all the other guys that you've been recruiting at that position. And Brian Kelly was very mindful of the impact that they've had.
You've got mature players that have played a lot of football, and certainly that shows up. And it didn't just show up today for me. It showed up every day in practice. And I will say this, I mean, we were very, I would say, intentional about who we were looking for and the kind of personality. Those guys are great workers. They do it the right way off the field in this building. They are leaders, even in the sense of how they handle themselves amongst our football team, even though they've only been here since January. So these were really impactful players, not only from an edge standpoint in terms of what you see, but I can tell you from behind the scenes, they're very impactful as well.
Remember, to that point, remember what Jack Pyburn said on we had Jack Pyburn on the show after he signed with LSU in the portal, the Florida transfer. And he talked about why he wanted to come to LSU.
Honestly, I was also looking for a coach that I felt like could develop parts of my game that I know need to be focused on. For instance, my pass rush. I'm an effective pass rusher, but I want to be an elite pass rusher. And in being an elite pass rusher, you have to have an elite coach that can turn you into the product that you want to be. And just off of Coach Baker and especially Coach Peoples' pedigree, they put a lot of guys into the league that they've developed, into higher round picks. So I saw it as potential to increase my stock and become a better player.
Okay, increase my stock, become a better player. Like, think about what Brian Kelly was saying. The type of person you were bringing in. These aren't just guys that were young guys coming in to take a check. These were veteran. Oh, they got paid. But these were veteran guys who wanted to win and wanted to improve for the draft. Yes, they wanted to get paid, no doubt. And they did. They all did. But you brought in dudes like Pyburn's a 3-year player at Florida. Patrick Payton's been playing his whole career at Florida State with 1 year to go. Jamari Butler's a super senior. These are veteran dudes that were coming here to make money, but also to improve, to win, and to improve for the next level. That, of course, benefits this team right now. This was Pyburn during his spring, like just a couple of weeks ago when he met with reporters. He said this.
It's fun. I love football. Where else would I rather be? Especially now I get paid to play the game I love in college and get a great education at a great school and around amazing people and have all the best facilities. Why wouldn't you come to work and be happy?
Why wouldn't you come to work and be happy? Come to work and be happy. I don't think he meant it in the sense like that, but yes, like just listen to the context when Brian Kelly talks about that. You got these great players at that position, but they bring all the other things too that you want. It wasn't just come in, get a check, and move on. A few other things. Caden Durham missed the spring practice with an ankle injury. Brian Kelly said it wasn't very severe. So Caleb Jackson took the reps with the 1s. Harlan Berry went with the 2s. Destin Hill also out. Brian Kelly said that was a little more of a severe ankle sprain, a high ankle sprain. He's probably done for the spring. But make no mistake, y'all, Destin Hill is the CJ Daniels of this offense. He's the guy that's the physical wideout who, he's not going to be your leading receiver. But on 3rd and 6, you need someone to go over the middle and get you 7 yards. Destin Hill can be that guy. Every time we've seen them run short yardage drills, Destin Hill's the receiver in the game because they can even put him in the slot. He's going to crack down and block people and move bodies. He's a physical receiver. Unfortunate not to see him. Trey'Dez Green went down with injury. He got rolled up on during one of the scrimmage sessions. It was on a 2nd and 10 play when Caleb Jackson got stuffed on a 2-yard run. Green got rolled up on and then had to come off the field. But I asked Brian Kelly after. He said Trey'Dez is fine. So not a big deal there. The other thing that I thought was so impactful, the defense won the scrimmage sessions. And if you want, I have a full play-by-play, y'all, at LouisianaSports.net. I charted the play-by-play of the first team of the 11-on-11 scrimmage sessions, the 7-on-7, the goal line, the red zone. I charted the plays, so I got all that for you. It's at LouisianaSports.net. You can get it for free. But the thing that for me was the most impactful, when they went goal line, so the first team ran 6 goal line snaps. They scored on 5 of the 6. Now in the red zone, when they moved it back to the 20, the defense won. But when they went goal line, inside the 5, the offense scored on 5 of the 6 plays. And y'all, Joe Sloan was in his bag. Brian Kelly even mentioned afterwards when he was asked about JuJuan Johnson, because on one of the plays, it was the 4th snap. JuJuan Johnson, they kept Nuss in the game, so they flexed Nuss out. JuJuan Johnson went to quarterback, called his own number, got in the end zone on the left side. And Kelly said, I made y'all turn off the cameras because I didn't want to put that on film. And it's one of those things where if this were a traditional spring game that was being televised, you probably don't run that play. Because Kelly clearly wouldn't have want that on film for other people to see. But we got to see it. Like, these were the 6 plays. I'll go very quickly. First down, they went a 3 tight end set. Garrett Nussmeier designed quarterback draw for a touchdown. By the way, that elicited a very sarcastic cheer from the crowd because Nussmeier ran it in. Second down, power, give to Caleb Jackson, dive for a touchdown. Third down, Nussmeier rolls right. They had Caleb Jackson dragging underneath. Nussmeier, easy dump past Caleb Jackson for a touchdown. Fourth play was the JuJuan Johnson one I just referenced with Nussmeier flexed out. Fifth was the only one that didn't. They threw a back right corner pylon pass to Chris Hilton. Nuss threw it out of bounds. It was well covered. That was the only one that didn't work. And then the 6th play, they went 4 tight ends. They had Bauer Sharp, Trey'Dez Green, Donovan Green, the A&M transfer, and they put Bo Bordelon in on the left side as a jumbo tight end. So they had 4 tight ends on the field, and they rolled right, and Bauer Sharp was wide open, and us could have just handed him the football. It was 6 different formations, 6 different players getting attempts, and you scored on 5 of the 6. It was really encouraging because, remember, that was a problem for LSU a year ago was red zone and goal line offense. I mean, literally the first possession of the season last year against SC, you drive all the way down, and you can't get in the end zone. You end up going forward on a 4th and goal, and you get stuffed. So you got to be better. You got the personnel to be. That was really interesting to see. So a couple of my takeaways. Defense was awesome. Look, special teams was still a challenge. You had, Chadwick, the Middle Tennessee transfer, boom, a 60-yarder, and then the next one he shanked. Same thing with Peyton Todd. His first 2 punts didn't even go 30 yards. It's going to be a process there, figuring those guys out and who could be consistent. Field goal, Damian Ramos had one blocked. Aaron Burrell missed a PAT, but then they both made from 55. So that's just going to be a little bit of trying to develop consistency there. But all things considered, a really good day of work Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Tigers will practice Tuesday and then again on Thursday, and that'll be a wrap on spring. Remember, the spring portal window opens on Wednesday, so we'll get a better sense of what guys won't be back for LSU come fall. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.